ViSalus is life. You know, it was crazy. Yesterday morning, I got up early, was excited to head down to the ambassador breakfast. Ambassadors, that was a great breakfast yesterday morning. It was raining early, decided to take the underground tunnel from the hotel way over there to the convention over here. It was early enough that nobody was in the tunnel, walking by myself, getting excited for the day. And I turned the corner in that tunnel, and there's one person that just opens the door. And the first thing that comes out of her mouth, not a hi, not a hello, not a good to meet you. Oh my God, ViSalus has changed my life. It's like, good to meet you, I'm Blake, okay. Pretty profound words, though, for the first thought to come to someone's mind. Change your life. How many of you guys have already, whether it's your first day and you got drugged down here from a convention next door, or whether you've been with us for 7 years, how many of you guys have already had an impacting change on your personal life? How many of you have had someone come up to you that because of your touch, directly or indirectly, said, "You helped me change my life"? You see, it's an interesting thing, life. I once heard it described as, well, Blake, at the end of the day, we all come down to 2 dates and a dash. The date we were born, the date that we pass, and that dash in the middle, that's life. You see, we have a different philosophy. When we say ViSalus means life, it really comes down to a philosophy on life. And it's a philosophy myself, Nick, and Ryan all shared when we first met. It was something we all had in common. And as we've matured in our years, it's become a part of who we are, and I think it's become a part of the entire ViSalus culture. You guys see, it's this philosophy. At the end of the day, life is a collection of experiences. It's a series of moments that we choose to remember. How many of you guys have seen Nick give the presentation where he says, make your lived list, create your own slideshow? Right, I know Ryan walks around every day on the inside of his arm. It says Carpe Diem to remind him every day to seize the day and create those moments. Me personally, I think in images. So I look at it like a mental photo album. A collection of memories that you take a snapshot in your mind, you store up here, and at the end of the day, at some point, you're going to look back and you're going to realize everything, all your existence, what your life stands for is just a collection of those highlights, of those memories. Does that make sense to everybody? And is it just me, or does every day seem to get faster than the last? What year are we in? What month are we in? Are you kidding me? You guys remember when we were kids, a day was like a millennium? But as we get older, what happens? Days go by, weeks go by, years go by, decades go by. Life gets faster and faster. You want to know why? We stop taking those moments. We stop creating those experiences. We get stuck in routine. How many of you guys know people that run a routine every single day? Wake up to the alarm clock, snooze 18 times. Zombie walk to the coffee pot. Same routine in the morning, same way to work, same thing every day with the same people. Come home, and then tomorrow morning reset. Who knows people stuck? Ladies and gentlemen, those people may be alive, but they are not living. I believe it was Benjamin Franklin that said, most men die at 18. We don't bury them until they're 65. But what he didn't say this. He didn't say that that's a decision. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a decision. The story of our lives are just the pages of experience we choose. Who chooses? We choose to create. When we say ViSalus means life, we say this is about empowerment. It's about you understanding that you're the architect. You get to decide if you live your life by your design or by default. And I don't know about you, ViSalus. How many of you guys want to be the architect of your own life? Let me hear you. And I'm also willing to bet, if you were right now in this moment, as you're sitting in your chair, to flash your own highlight reel in your head, the memories that come to your mind were the ones with people that you actually cared about. How many of you guys think it's cool that we got 15,000 crazy ViSalians from all across North America right here in Kansas City right now? How many of you have already made relationships and friendships through ViSalus that you know in your heart will last a lifetime? You guys, how cool is it that we have a family all across North America? You've never met them before, but they're your brother, they're your sister. You guys know you're walking around, you see the Vi guy, you give him the wink. You drive by a black BMW, it doesn't even say ViSalus, you give them the nod. You think, you know. Some of you guys have taken your relationships beyond friendships. Some of my best memories, Ryan and Kristen Johnson, 5 stars in the front row, where Ryan at the end of the experience surprises Kristen and proposes right there. A few months later, 5-star ambassador's life totally changed. Or how about Nick Sarnicola over here? And Ashley Sarnicola at the Atlanta National event. You guys remember that experience? Yeah. Is there anybody else in the room? Any other ViSalus engagements or marriages out there? Just out of curiosity right here. I think I just found out why the rest of the people are here this weekend. GJ right here in the front. You guys, ViSalus is about the friendships, the relationships. It's about the family, isn't it? Sometimes those experiences are the littlest things. Sometimes they come from your kids. How many of you guys have had an experience with your kids that ViSalus enabled you to have? You took them to Disneyland. You managed to do something for them. You managed to spend time that you wouldn't have done without this company. Guys, that's what this is about. Maybe it's your kid looking at you and say, Mom, you look hot. Dad, you look buff. Maybe it's you bringing them as you cross the stage at your recognition, and they look at you in your eye and they say, Mom, Dad, they're cheering for us. How many of you guys think that would be an experience? How many of you guys, is it your first time in Kansas City right now, ever? You're creating an experience right now! How many of you guys made sacrifices to be here? Where's Brian? He hit me on my Facebook page this morning. Brian, right over here, he said, Blake, I missed my caravan. I was helping tornado victims. I missed my second flight. I was helping tornado victims. So now I'm on a Greyhound charter through the night to make it here this morning. Brian out there in the audience. Do you guys realize there's a lot of people that could have made that decision? They could have made that experience, but they didn't. You all did. That's the difference. And you know what? Those experiences at the end of the day, those are going to be the memories you store up here. Those will be the stories you share from stage someday as part of your journey. You guys, the world's big. How many of you guys want to travel, see things, experience it? I remember going to Hawaii. Any Hawaiians in the house? For their very first success training. And then at first Ambassador Elias grabs me and GJ and Nate and Madiba, and he brings us surfing. And there's Madiba. First time in Hawaii. First time in an ocean. First time surfing. Ladies and gentlemen, your life should be about collecting firsts. Collect first times. And every time you collect the first time, here's what I want you to do. Stick your right hand in front of your face. Everybody, stick your right hand in front of your face. Everybody, stick your right hand in front of your face. Now take your ring finger and touch your thumb. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what the Vi Life stands for. Create the experiences, design your life. You guys, I know we're a bunch of crazy ViSalians. We're not going to settle for what most people settle for, are we? Last night, how many of you guys partied the night away with Mike Craig and Bob Bearden out there? Talk about an experience. How can you guys do that all night, then go back and work, and then get up, and then show up like you guys showed up this morning, ready to take over the world? Because that's what we do! Woo! You guys, we don't do what we think we're supposed to do. When you stop doing what you think you're supposed to do and you start doing what you were really meant to do, that's when the script ends and that's when life begins. And if you live your life to your best standard, here's what happens. You become an inspiration. And pretty soon your experiences, the things that you store, aren't even the experiences of your own. Pretty soon your highlight reel are the stories of the people that you've inspired and them telling you how you changed their life because you were the example. You guys, last memory in my mind I want to share. I knew this year was going to be a magical year. Every year I choose to bring in my year doing something I've never done, creating a first, living the Vi life. This year, with a bunch of ViSalians, Jason O'Toole, Jennifer, Rich Paula, Luceros, RJ and Sam Burrows, out in Australia, where RJ and his team, his ViSalus team, got one of the only 64 yachts on the Sydney Harbor that were allowed to circle under the largest firework display in the world. And there we are at midnight, bringing in 2012. Everybody living the Vi life. We go under the Sydney Bridge, and right on the Opera House, a sign. You only live once. Ladies and gentlemen, life is not a dress rehearsal. Find friends you can have fun with. Create experiences that are worth remembering. Planet Earth is a big place. Go out and see it. And live your life so that it may be an inspiration that challenges others to do the same for theirs. That's what we mean when we say ViSalus is life.
I wasn't always healthy. In fact, I wasn't raised in a healthy family. I wasn't raised in a family that valued their eating decisions whatsoever. I was raised in a family of drug addicts, drunks, and anything but healthy people. When I was about 24 years old, I was 260 pounds. I was heading toward an absolute disaster, having chronic injuries. And my sister, basically the person who raised me, the only one that I could ever confide in, got cancer. And I'm a spiritual man. I believe in God, and I believe that He gives you these gifts from time to time. And that was the first health scare I ever had as a 24-year-old young man. My 34-year-old sister has cancer. And if I lost her, I had nothing left. How many of you have had an experience where you've had a real tough health scare or tragedy due to cancer or something terrible in your family? There was a message delivered to you swiftly from God Himself, right? Maybe you're here for that very reason. After my sister went into remission, we started ViSalus not too long later, and I would hear stories about, in fact, I remember one that I'll never forget when Pete Bunting shared with me how he lost his mother. And he'd tear up. And I remember being sympathetic, but it didn't hit home till 1 year ago to the date. To this week, I saw my very mother, after she had walking up a flight of stairs, having relapsed into alcoholism. And we don't know if she did it on purpose, if it truly was an accident. But when they found her 12 hours later, she had been in a coma. They had to remove half of her brain. And I had hope. They asked me if I wanted to resuscitate. I said, yes. She still lies in a vegetative state. When I go see her, I'll get her to open her eyes. Sometimes they'll dilate just so I can see that she knows it's me. She'll pucker her lips. It's the only movement I can get. I spend $1,000 a day to keep her alive against her wishes because the health system is so messed up that everyone out there wants to keep her alive but her and her family. But I don't care about the $1,000 a day. I would do anything to change this healthcare system. I would do anything so your family never has to endure the consequences of this healthcare system. Those families can't afford to go through the tragedy that mine has gone through. And I'll tell you, like I said, I believe God works in mysterious ways because I wasn't living the healthiest life when she fell. And I started thinking differently about the years I have left because I have a son who's 3 years old that I love and adore. And a few short months after my mother fell, I found out that he had some health challenges as well. And I had to make a decision. Am I going to lead my son, show him the right way? Am I going to invest in his health? Am I going to make sure that his disabilities are his abilities? Because there's no system that teaches a 3-year-old child how to overcome his special needs. And there's nothing like seeing my son he has a difficult time eating certain foods and he has a difficult time eating certain textures, and we just want him to eat sometimes, and so we feed him whatever he'll take. And when he has a Nutri-Cookie, it's a blessing to see my son enjoying something that he loves. It's a blessing to know that this company has created products for families that meet their needs, that'll shift their health so that they can serve together, so they can live together, so that they can be free together. My family has been bound for a year by the decisions that my mother made and by this terrible healthcare system that we are forced to live in today. But my son will not be bound by that system because I, as his father, won't let it happen. And I hope you, as the fathers and mothers, as the brothers and the sisters, as the nurturers of this community, will not let your friends and your neighbors and your community members suffer the same poor decision making and the same health consequences that we have seen time and time again, because you would become aware here this weekend that there is a better way. And that way is ViSalus, because ViSalus is health.
ViSalus is prosperity. Prosperity for us as a company and as a group of founders has 3 different meanings. It's number 1 about what it can do for you and your personal finances. It's number 2 about how you can raise up other individuals and help them become successful entrepreneurs. And lastly, prosperity is about having enough ability, a financial capability to be a philanthropic individual, to give back. Because you cannot give what you do not have. And when I look at ViSalus from the prosperity perspective, and I look at that first aspect of it, and I say, how many people out there are truly struggling? How many people out there are living paycheck to paycheck? How many people out there are buried in debt, who don't know how they're going to put their kids through college. How many people out there are on the unemployment line, who've just been laid off, who've just been let go, who've just been downsized, who don't know what the future holds for them? Many of those individuals are sitting in the seats today. Many of you have suffered through financial crises over the last few years, with little hope for what's going to happen next in your life. Losing sleep at night, worried for your family's future, your spouse's future, worried about your ability to provide, wondering how long it will last. Many of those individuals, I am proud to say, are six-figure-a-year earning ambassadors that ViSalus created through our entrepreneurial vehicle of promoting the challenge. If you are an ambassador in this room, please stand up. Each one of these individuals is a reflection of every single one of you in this room. Whether you're in the way back corner back here, yes, you, or maybe this corner over here in the middle right here in the back, or maybe this back corner over here. These ambassadors are a reflection of every single one of you. All of your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, everything that you must go through, everything that you have gone through, and a reflection of that, yes, you can do it, that it is possible, that you can get out of that hole, that you can make it to the top of that mountain, that you can reclaim your financial security, and you can build a life and a dream again for the future. I look at these stories in these front rows. I see Freddie and Kathy Malero. Two people who came to my house for the first presentation that we ever had in Miami with 15 people there. And he brought Ibrahim and Melba right over here. Both of their families severely in debt, children to support, out of money, overweight, unhealthy. They took this vehicle and have helped hundreds of people put a new BMW in their driveway, and in turn created a new dream for their family. You can look through these rows and you can see stories. You can see the Ferriers, Jason and Leanne Ferrier, right here in the front row. When Jason and Leanne joined our business, Leanne had just been laid off. She was an unemployed Applebee's waitress. Within months of our business, she was making twice as much money as she was on unemployment. And shortly after that, she was making as much money as her husband was in his full-time career. And shortly after that, together, they're making 4 times that a month. And now, proudly, he has walked away from his job and fired his boss to never look back. Because of a decision that his wife made. There's story after story after story sitting right here. I see the Silverthorns, who the real estate industry completely wiped them out. $50,000 a month earners in the real estate industry, 70 mortgage broker or loan officers that reported to them. But when it happened, they had a $10,000 a month income coming in from ViSalus. And they were able to keep their heads above water, not comfortably, but above water. They were able to continue to provide and put food on the table for their children. And through all of that, they never quit. They kept going. Now 2-star ambassadors, well on their way to 5-star ambassador. I see Tracy and Charles. When I met Tracy, she's the epitome of what's possible. The epitome of what you look for in a leader in our company. Work ethic, energy, focus, heart, drive, frustrated beyond belief, making $4,000 or $5,000 a month as a nurse, not able to make the impact that she's born to make in her environments. Grab a hold of this, and with her significant other Charles, become 1-star ambassadors with a newborn baby who will never have to go through what she went through and what he went through, because together they'll provide a lifestyle for her that they never dreamed possible. All of these stories are what open up the gate for all of you to understand that yes, you can do this. That you can take control of your financial future. You can own your life. You can reclaim your time. You can be the person who calls the shots. Just like each one of these ambassadors have done. And I know in my heart that each and every single one of you in this room, you have every gift that you need. It's already inside of you. You have everything that it takes. It's already inside of you to be one of these ambassadors. Will you be one of these ambassadors? And once that's done, you'll spend the rest of your life. I want you to understand this. You'll spend your first section of time reclaiming your life. And you'll spend the rest of your life teaching and helping others to reclaim theirs. And in doing so, you'll create a dream lifestyle for your family. Could you be passionate about waking up every day simply teaching others how to reclaim their life as an entrepreneur with ViSalus? Could you be passionate about that? Could you wake up passionate for that? And when this does happen, the financial abundance of 15,000 of you, the financial abundance of every single one of you collectively together, making a decision to give back, making a decision to contribute, making a decision to help your causes, your churches, your communities. We have already served well over 1 million meals to children in need through ViSalus' philanthropic endeavors because of every single one of you. We have gone into communities led by these ambassadors that were riddled by tornadoes. Dozens of homes, hundreds of homes lost, businesses lost, and there are ambassadors giving out shakes, giving out water, giving out cookies, whatever they have to do to make a difference in their community. Ladies and gentlemen, you will first get yourself there. You will spend the rest of your life teaching others how to get themselves there, and you will spend that time together contributing, giving back, and making a difference in your communities. ViSalus is prosperity.